Alpha defense having to come out here on Boom. They can get some good lasso and scooter backplays.
It might not matter. Yoey, he's found the shackle and he's just dead. Yopatch has buyback, but Mushi as well. Caught by some of the brambles here. In Your Dream is in onto him. They finally get the harpoon.
What?
He's thought out for him. Yopatch,
No.
he lassoed himself.
That has got to be it.
Apart. John, Boom Esports lose 4. GG is called. Army Geniuses fight their way for the right to stay into Div 1. But Boom Esports will be making the trip back down to Div 2 come next tour.
It's a great win for Army Geniuses. Again, this is a team that we've seen grow from their journey in Div 2, from a lot of roster changes.
Green Ranger MVP once again.
This hero
MVP
might just be rising in stocks. I know pub players are definitely very, very frustrated with her. It's because they've got a coach on their side. Claire, a pleasure to finally speak to you. Have we gotten a chance to interview you before on one of these yet?
Yeah, I think at the conclusion of Division 2, so in the first season, I spoke for quite a length there at the end. But yeah, I think we're out of the spotlight at the time because we're Div 2, obviously. But yeah, shoot away. This is the last one again. It's going to be a long time before anything else in DPC capacity. So yeah, Riyadh Masters coming in with the majors. Should be a lot of fun Dota.
But I'm guessing that your next officials are going to be TI regional qualifiers?
I believe so. To be honest, we're kind of waiting on word from Valve or other organizers to see what's really out there. Because, I mean, I guess as we look at the schedule now, there's going to be like a huge lull, right? Like it's a very big empty space.
Right.
If you're not a team that's playing Dream League or competing for Riyadh. So yeah, I'm hoping that some TOs and Valve step in there, at least share some information regarding what could happen.
Yeah, because I know you and your players are very, very hungry. You've exhibited that over the past 4 months. In your perspective, now that we haven't gotten a chance to speak to you in basically tours, what is your assessment of your team? What are you most proud of that they've been able to work on over these past 2 tours?
I think the thing I'm most proud of is honestly just this series bounce back at the end. I know like we have some recency bias apply here, but I think anyone who's been following us, and shout out to the fans, the Indo fans as well, and supporters of AG. Just believe us that we are really trying to put in the work to turn this around. It hasn't been our most successful season. At the start of the season, I've been around the block for a long time. I've been on many different teams, and when you have a team that's kind of like rising up in like a rising star formation, when you hit a wall, which kind of was our wall last season when we lost the tiebreaker against, or sorry, the final series against Execration for the major qualification, right? That's a ceiling that's put on you by somebody else, and there's a lot of teams that will kind of lose their breath of life and kind of start dying out from that point. So breaking through that wall is especially hard when everybody gets like a big reset and we're kind of behind starting with the patch already because we were kind of on an extended break. And I think we just found a slower footing in general compared to some of the other teams. So it's been honestly a very rough season overall, but I would say our bounce back here is something to be happy and proud about. But I think overall the season was kind of a failure, and we've got more than just so much work to do. You know, I think realistically, a lot of teams are going to be thinking about a lot of different things, and you know, we have to be kind of in the mix of thinking about everything from scratch.
You set high standards, Claire, and it shows from your team's performance, and absolutely I agree that this is something that you guys should be proud of because this entire series has been cutthroat. I mean, this entire tour has been cutthroat. The fact that Talon can't even make it to the major, things are crazy this tour, but you guys have persevered. Adam, any questions for Clairvooyance?
Yeah, I want to ask about the drafts actually. I feel like AG over this tour, you guys have played many different things and many different heroes. Is it, are you guys having trouble like finding the identity of AG again? Or is this like just an experimental phase for you guys?
No, I think we're past the experiments. We can call it that in the sense that, yeah, we are still trying to find our footing, of course. But it's like, okay, here's the stat, right? We played the Naga Siren into the Magnus again. In the last 3 games that we played this Naga against Magnus, which in my head is a favorable matchup for the Naga outside of the laning phase, we actually lost. But you know, we come to this position, and I try to be usually resilient about my as well as my team's Dota knowledge. And you know, we have In Your Dream. Kiki's a fantastic Naga player overall. We just haven't been able to execute and showcase that. So obviously we showcased it here in this final moment that it mattered, but we've been questioning a lot of our knowledge, and I've been questioning myself as well, because as you said, Adam, we played a lot of different heroes this DPC tour, and believe me, we've basically lost with everything. So it kind of makes you question and go to the drawing board on a lot of things.
On the quick follow-up on the aspect of you having your own opinions and taking your players' input into consideration, do you have like a ratio that you would say, like a percentage of, in any given draft, this percentage is your influence that you're like, guys, I think this is a good strategy, versus how much percent is your players saying like, I want to play this hero?
Usually in all the series previous to this one is actually about 60-40, maybe 70-30. One thing that, if you guys recall, is like, you know, the Morphling mid with the phylactery.
Yeah.
Yoe actually doesn't play very much Morphling, and we tried it only one time, but it was a suggestion I had based on kind of experiencing it in pubs and playing it myself, and just an idea at the top of the patch. So yeah, it's stuff like that is, you know, I have to kind of push it on the players, which might not always work. This series was 100-0. We're kind of in a do or die scenario, and I felt like I was kind of brought into this region to step up in these moments when leadership is lacking and confidence is lacking. So I kind of took over the draft in this series, and luckily my players were able to play. If you noticed in the last game, Yoe actually is a fantastic Wind Ranger player, but he's never played this Wind Ranger versus Bat Rider matchup, which is it should be kind of skewed towards Wind Ranger now due to the universal changes and all that. But when you don't have the experience, even though you're a fantastic player, you know, you can get kind of caught with your pants down. He started with the first blood, and, you know, unfortunately got killed after, which is kind of like a rare occurrence, and I don't really expect that to happen very often. But he still brought us the game back and had some of the most amazing shackles that you'll see, right? And that's sometimes the trade-off you're gonna have to take.
Yeah, he ended up being our MVP for that game. Winter, anything on your mind for Aaron?
Yeah, hey, I just want to ask about your opinions on last season. You guys were pretty successful, and what was the key? And you said this season is pretty much a failure. And what do you think changed this season for the whole team?
Yeah, it's the end of the season. I can speak on this. Normally I wouldn't. I think the biggest change actually to our game as a team is, if you noticed us last season, Jocam's usually on an initiation hero. I think the most prominent of that was Tiny. This patch with the map changes, as well as the range supports coming into play because of the positioning of the lanes and how people want to scale with their offlaner more than they want to scale with the support, the Tiny has kind of fallen off and lost its place, along with the huge cooldown nerfs that it received, right? So we kind of lost that initiation factor, and we had to rely more on DB, who is more of a natural, like, he's a player that transitioned from the offlane, from the carry role to the offlane, right? The skill set to be able to find all the perfect jumps is not necessarily developed yet. And when you have a new patch coming in, you have so many, like, you're completely overwhelmed as a player. You know, you got a guy like me who was pretty strong-minded myself, like nagging in his ear constantly about miss CS and stuff like that, right? So the amount of sheer pressure that a guy like that can experience, you know, it's easy to crumble and, you know, make a kid like that break. But I think I chose this guy, and I think he chose me for specific reasons. Despite the lack of the best performances, I still have faith, and I'm hoping that we can still get another chance to show that.
The faith was rewarded, Claire. Even though that this season may be considered a failure in the grand scheme of things, I think ultimately it's about making it to TI, and you've got the foundation to do it. Appreciate the candor very much. Congratulations on this series victory, and hopefully we get more officials out of Army Geniuses in the near future.
Yeah, hope to see you guys soon, and it's always very entertaining. Thank you very much.
Much love, man. We'll catch you later.